All right, guys, we are live this morning. The One Fun Guy podcast is welcoming Beth back into the podcast realm. She has a lot to talk about. Beth is actually one of my guests this is her third time on the show, and it is the first episode of 2025. So kudos
Yeah.
to that. So we're getting the ball rolling with the One Fun Guy podcast, but I will let Beth introduce herself and then tell us a little about what's going on with you now.
Yes. So you guys remember Beth. I will tell you, I have my lovely mother. She just does that. Next with me to kind of help. It's chemo, and sometimes I don't say words, and she also knows a lot more of what is happening that can explain. Um, there's a lot. Um, so, but it's a lot. Like it's a lot of new things that are happening.
Sure.
Um, so I think the last time we were here, we were talking about my Mayo.
Right.
And so we went to our Mayo, and I'm just gonna put this little plug in there. Like if you ever need um Mayo, and it could be other things, not just cancer. We have a friend that is ADL.
My sister-in-law has ALS,
Yeah.
and she
Okay.
has gone there to make sure that they're doing everything they can for her.
Yes, and
Sure.
they are amazing. Like, we spent over 3 hours with the person just explaining. And it
Okay.
did help us understand our situation. Um, I am now level 4. So if you remember, in the beginning, we were always 4, 3,
3, 4.
3, 4.
Right.
And they were never like iffy. Well, now they are. Um, so it is considered very aggressive. So basically that means like, if I get a tumor going, there's no wishy-washy, like get it going,
Right.
because it's going to spread faster.
Okay. So can we start
Yeah.
off with how when you got to the Mayo Clinic? Because I know the last time we had talked, I think we did our podcast on Saturday, and you were going that next, I believe, Thursday or Friday. So
Yes.
when you got there, can you kind of walk us through the process of like what happened? Like, what did they do when you walked through the door?
Yeah. So, first of all, they were amazing. Very, very nice. I walked in one day, and had a MRI, um, which was amazing. Um, but it's intense. Like it was almost like I was in a hospital. Like I had a strip. I had to put what are those?
A gown?
Yeah, like the gown, like stripped. Um, like you couldn't have anything because of the power of the MRIs. They did all of the face stuff that we had to do,
Okay.
um, get in and do the MRI. And then the next day is when we sat down with the doctor. And that is where she spent like those two hours explaining the MRI and why they chose the 4.
Okay.
And they did say that there is a possible tumor in here, right?
Yeah, it's kind of back here behind.
Okay.
But they didn't want to say like, yes, you have a tumor. Because of where it's at, it could also be radiation. And so they wanted to wait because the other issue that we went through was that now I am diagnosed with Cushing's.
Okay.
And I'll talk about that here in a second. But we actually go back Tuesday.
Yes,
Tuesday. Back to Mayo.
Okay.
I'll do the exact same MRI, and depending on the outcome, we will have a plan.
Okay.
Most likely, if there is an actual tumor, we'll stay that day, and get things balling. I said
rolling.
Tomato. That's my new.
Hey, we'll go with it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
My parents say that. I'm like, tomato. It's fine.
That's her real motto.
Yes,
It's fine.
It's fine. But that is the possibility. As I go to Des Moines, I will stay there for Rochester.
Okay.
I'll be there and go through the tumor and stuff like that. And basically start all over.
Okay. So let's go with first off, like, so as of right now, how do you feel? Are you feeling optimistic? Are you nervous? Are you scared? A little bit of everything? Like, kind of walk us through like what's going on with you.
So I don't know if you noticed, but I was very distant. I think honestly, I went through a period of more depression processing, because ultimately, when you hear a very aggressive possible tumor, you kind of get through that. Okay, well, I'm just gonna die now. But you know me, I kind of have to process.
Right.
And then I go through the positivity stuff. So if you ask me today, I'm very positive that either one, even if I go through and have the surgery, it'll be good.
Right.
And my hope is, my prayers are, when we go, they're like, oh no, like, gotcha.
Yeah.
And it not be as bad.
Sure.
Like, we'll be home,
Absolutely. And that's kind of like, so like when this whole thing started, that's what drew me to you, right? Was like
Right.
the post you were making, where like the positivity of the human spirit was so alive in you.
Yeah.
That's what attracted me to your post and like your stories, and like how somebody with such adversity could have still such a positive like outlook on life. And I know you mentioned all your bucket list and things you wanted to do, and like and it was fun because like you put a unique spin on it, because when I was going through all my health stuff, I had no outlet, and you're using this as to show the world like, hey, this is something you could get through if you want to. And that's what drew me to you, and like your story was inspiring. So that's why, like, when we started talking at first, I was like, you have to put this out there, like the world has to see what you're doing. And like that's what attracted me to all your posts, and all your stuff was just the power of positivity you had, and the human spirit was like so alive in you. So that's where, so like all the journey we've been through, like going through this together, has been unique because it puts a pretty good perspective on it, with all those other people that are going through the same thing, that might not have a good family support. It might not have the same mentality you have, which is awesome because you put a very unique spin on it.
Yes. And like, I did. I mean, I was not as involved with things. I was mainly involved with, the Christmas, and I was in the hospital Thanksgiving, which, like, I was really down because I love Thanksgiving. And, I had done really well. And so I was kind of bummed over it. But let me tell you, I had the best turkey in a hospital than I did anywhere else. I wanted to, like, I told my dad, I was like, I want more chicken, but that you could only give you one chicken.
Right,
But it was, I'm telling you, I'm gonna make a reason to be in the hospital every Thanksgiving because it was like I was fighting my brother or my dad. Like it was amazing. Like, and they catered out. Like that's
Right.
all they did.
Yeah, they catered it out.
But it was amazing.
That's amazing.
Like, yeah.
That is fun. And that's the thing, right? Like I can relate to you because in 2020 I was in the hospital over the holidays as well.
Yeah.
And I was released the day before Christmas. And I don't think I should have been. And I was in agony when I was home. So Christmas was terrible. And then that New Year, January 2nd, I actually went back to the ER and I spent 11 days in the hospital. And that's kind of when they started to figure out like everything that was going on. We went from our old hospital to our new one. So I can sympathize with being in the hospital on holidays. It is, it's obviously not the greatest time because you're not with your family, but you have to make the most of it, right? And they were with you, which was nice.
Yeah. Both of my parents were there.
We don't leave her alone in the hospital.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
I don't. I don't know. You guys they're little. I'm a little child.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. So another piece that I was bringing, which also brings up kind of funny. So when we were Mayo, we had learned through them that I have Cushing's, which I don't understand it, guys. Like
Cushing's is because she has been on so many steroids this last year. Her body doesn't process the steroids like it needs to, and her body's not.
Okay.
It's not taking on the steroid. Although for the swelling,
yeah.
So, do you want me to continue?
We're good. Mom, one of the things I was like, Mom, don't wait too long.
Right. No, it's fine. Take your time. We're here. We got plenty of time.
So one of the things that I do is do that chemo, that picture that I showed you, right?
The new chemo?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not actually a chemo medication.
Right.
It's a biologic.
Okay.
Invasti is the one that she's taking, and what it does is tumors feed off of blood cells, off of blood veins and stuff. They form around it to feed it. Well, this particular biologic restricts that so that it makes it shrink and takes down swelling by curtailing that blood flow to the tumor.
Yeah. I just call it chemo because
right.
Chemo treatment.
Yes.
Does your body react to it the same way it would chemo, or does it? So is it like
you remember like this, and like the face, stuff like that? Those were indicators of the Cushing's.
Okay.
And I go every 3 weeks
for 4 sessions.
Yes.
She has one more.
And then I like go in and it's what, 4 hours?
Well, the first time was 4 hours. This last one was only a couple of hours.
But it's chemo. Like the other day,
Sure.
I was really tired and I got sick just once.
The biggest symptom I see of you with it is the tiredness.
Yeah.
With this one, but she doesn't go through the nausea, the swelling. I mean, we noticed after the first thing of it, after the first treatment of it, already her swelling had gone way down, and the most significant thing that we've seen is that because that swelling is not there so much, she has had very little pain medication since she got home from the hospital, and that's been 2-3 weeks
that was
ago.
the next one.
But we've also noticed that, and we're not sure where it's coming from, but her cognition has gotten less stable.
More,
Okay.
yeah, which is great. Like, I remember, I think it was 2 days after I came, my dad kind of teared up, and he's like, "There's my daughter." Like, I was cognitive, being funny, thinking clearly, and things like that. And we've noticed, like, after the chemo, whatever you want to call it, the first day is rough, and then the second day, which is actually today, I I feel better. Like, I feel less
Okay.
stuff, and I'm able to do more. Granted, I still take naps, but
Sure. Now, how
um,
does your body feel? Like, is it strong physically, or do you still feel like?
so that's weird, because one of the things that they said was that my actual body, so, like, I don't know how to show you, but, like, the top half of my body is like, stronger than,
Okay.
and
She's lost some muscle mass in her
yes,
legs.
and
Yeah.
they said it was because of this.
Yeah, because of the Cushing's.
Right.
And that has been interesting. Like, me, I want to go up and I want to do something, but my body won't.
That's what I was getting at. Like, because I know you mentioned the steroids, and do they have to do like iron infusions for your blood, or like, are you strong enough like to take the medicine, or do they have to like, do you need additives like I do?
She is monitored every month with they do blood work to
Okay.
see where she's at. She has had to take iron because of it, but at right now she's not. Her numbers were high enough she didn't need to take iron right now.
Yes,
Okay.
but okay, so let me bring back a little bit to help
Yeah.
with the other piece. Okay, so we don't know. But before this, we went to the hospital for pain management, because it was, I honestly, I wanted to die. Like, it was so bad, nothing was working. I was very, very weak. But in the process, there was other things, like, me.
Yeah.
I tell you everything. Like, continence was really bad. My parents were having to come to, no. Oh,
We were having to help her in the bathroom.
well, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were having to help a lot, and it was like a lot, and it was just overwhelming. And so we went to the hospital for management, but to help with other processes. We don't know. I say, Mom, I'm looking at Mom to be like, she's gonna say something else. I honestly think at some point there was a, like, mild stroke. There was never anything that was confirmed.
Okay.
I also had a freak out. And so they weren't able to do an MRI. Even though later my mom, who is a medic, said that probably they wouldn't have been able to identify anyways because of the radiation stuff. But majority of my body is weak on the right side now. Left side, sorry.
Okay.
The left side. I also cannot see from here over. Like, there's nothing.
Okay.
And I don't think we really understood it, or, like, learned it until after I was home. And it was Was it my mom? I can't remember, but somebody scared me, and I'm like, I didn't see you.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay, but I don't think we really understood how far my
Mm-hmm.
my blindness, not
Yeah.
seeing,
Yeah.
Now,
was.
is this temporary or is this
We don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Yeah,
The doctors, when she was in the hospital, they did do a CAT scan
Yeah.
because they wanted to be sure she hadn't had a stroke or a brain bleed or something, and it was negative. But what the doctors think is that so the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body,
Mm-hmm.
and that this is a symptom of something with the tumor that's caused it. She has gotten a lot stronger
well, that's
with it. Yeah.
what we were talking. So originally,
Okay.
when I was there at the hospital, they wanted to keep me. What is it? What is?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
They were gonna want to keep me at the hospital and do physical therapy and occupational therapy.
Well, yeah, they were supposed to evaluate you for it.
But I did get stronger on
Okay.
this side, but more.
Sure.
So I never had to go in, but I do have I do physical therapy and like
Twice
every
a
other day.
Okay. Sure.
We're not messing around. We have that and occupational. So to help, like, I mean, again, sorry, you know me, but wiping my butt was really hard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
and
Because she
doing,
would bend over and that would cause her to fall
yes,
over and all.
Right.
and so occupational was helping me build new ways, like, how can I get up out of a bed? How can I fall? To kind of help still build that independence, but build strength, because
Sure.
I'm still very weak. Like, if I didn't have you sitting on the computer, like, you would be like,
Right.
it's just because of that. So we take that as well, with all of that weakness.
Okay.
So it's,
Never in a million years would I ever think that I would have a bidet in my house.
yes, we finally put a bidet.
Yeah.
I was tired of my mom having to
Right.
butt.
Sister.
My mom's like
Yeah.
rolling her eyes like, Brenda Lee. Usually I ask her, but again, that's reality. Like, those are things.
No, that's what we love about it, right? Because we like, so my audience, like, when I tell them stuff about it,
Yeah.
they we I don't want to go any more personal than you want to go. I mean, but if you want to take it there, we can. I have no issues with it. There's no filters here. There's no, so you say what you want. We're going with it.
Yeah, and it's reality. Like, again, I have a friend, and I'm not going to say their name because they don't know if I want to share or not. But, and you know me, like, I support any type of cancer. Like, we just lost two of our friends, found out they had cancer and passed away. You know me. But the stuff that I go through is so much different than any other
Mm-hmm.
type. And so you know me, I feel like that's out there. Like, yeah, I have brain damage, but these are the things that we're having. Look at what I'm looking at, um we don't know if I'm ever gonna see,
Okay.
don't know if, my ear, that was an issue. We don't know if that's gonna ever change because of the radiation, and we're hopeful that I'll get that vision, but we just don't know, you know. But My family, on the other hand, love the fact that I can't see.
No, we don't.
Somebody will sit on this side so she can eat my food and not tell me because I can't see it.
She also turns your plate so you can see it from
Yeah,
time to
she
time.
does. But it's so funny. You're like, oh, I miss food. And then my mom will, here you go. And I'm like, oh, new food.
Right.
I got more food. The boys like to play around with me, and one of the other things is, that day that we got that bug,
Right.
and Mom, we finally had came to, like, we got to get out, like, we're better, we got to get out. And this was our first time in the time that we knew how far I couldn't see. And we were driving and we didn't really process it. And so I would fall, I hit, I don't know how many people I hit.
At Walmart.
Yeah. And every single time my parents were like, oh, she's okay. She's just blind. It's okay. I'm like, oh my God, someone's going to like smack me.
Right.
But we sometimes have heydays. I think I've ran like 4 or 5 people, like even the doors and stuff like that. I'm like, at some point I'm gonna get a big O
Right.
thing in my head just from not
running
seeing
into things. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've started to.
Sure.
It feels really funny, as a parent, you always walk behind your children to make sure they're in front of you
Yeah.
and you're safe and stuff, even when they're Beth's age somewhat. And now one of us walks in front of her and one of us walks in back so she can watch where we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Around. It's just
funny.
It's been an interesting year.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are a lot of our new stuff, isn't it? Well, we go back
Tuesday.
to Mayo on
Okay. Tuesday.
We drive Monday and then we see doctors Tuesday.
Do you have anything else? I know I just talked and didn't ask.
No, I was actually going to ask about like how everything else is like outside of like the health issues. How's the new place? How's getting around? How's like, are you getting acclimated now? I know that you guys have had some serious life changes. So
yeah, I mean, I think
we love this house.
Yes, the house that we have.
It's actually a duplex, but it's 1,300 square feet, so it's a very nice one. 3 bedrooms.
And they recently, with everything, the company that we're using, actually added things
Grab
for
bars.
grab bars for me,
okay.
so I can be a little bit more independent. My mom still has to supervise.
Sure.
But what do you?
I supervise you in the shower.
Do you not?
No.
Sorry, my mother.
I listen.
I mean,
wash your arm.
Like,
wash your hair.
Like, majority of the time, like, I can do a shower on my own, but there's still the concern of the seizure and stuff like that. Now I haven't had them. I don't remember.
You've had, I mean, maybe two.
Since we started everything. But just for safety, like,
sure,
stand in the room and stuff like that. And there are days that I'm very, very tired and shaky where she has to help, like,
absolutely,
like that. But everything else,
I'm very proud of her. She gets up in the morning, which mornings are her best time of day. She gets up and she's, I need to do something. And she'll start in making her bed and doing some things in the picking up in the kitchen. And through this whole process, she's always chosen things that she wants to get done during the day, and she works on them until she gets too tired.
Okay.
So,
And with PT, like we're starting to do things to help with like my wrists and stuff. So we do a lot of like baking, where I
Okay.
this, and it's PT.
Now the PT, is that on your own, or is that done? Does somebody come and actually do it to help you
So
through these exercises?
We go physical therapy every 2 weeks.
no,
Okay.
Twice a week. And then this one we're just now starting. But when I left the hospital, I have like putty
Sure.
that I can do. But I do the fun stuff, so I do the baking.
Right. So they give you exercises to do at home, then,
Yeah.
right? That stuff that they and then.
I mean, even physical therapy, she gives me plans and stuff like that. Like my hip, she noticed that my hip is very weak. And so I like I stand like this.
Okay.
Like just things like that
Sure.
we do.
the physical therapist she's going to is also specializes in cancer.
Okay.
She doesn't call it cancer physical therapy. I don't know, but she deals with all of their cancer patients.
Yeah, so she understands like bad days, and things like that, where we might not do as much or less, or understands like cognitive, which I love, because sometimes, especially like now with chemo or chemo week, instead of like trying to tell me, she just
Right.
move it to where she wants, and then she's like, okay, let's do this, because she understands. She understands my cognitive and remembering.
Okay.
So she's not like, remember this, she's always, okay, let's do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So and she's funny, and she's our age, and she
Whose
gets
age?
well, she's a little bit, but yeah,
She's your age. She's not my
I think
age.
we found, I don't know, but
sorry,
close.
I was trying to be funny and it backfired.
Yes, it happens all the time. It just feels good to have somebody like close around my age that gets it and still like helps, and it's
Sure.
fun and positive. Like she's very positive about this week. She's like, I'm going to see you next week.
Right.
And it's wonderful to have that. With that, it makes me want to go.
Sure.
Not like, oh, all right, let's go. I like to go. So
Right.
find people that you jive with is, I guess, advice.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, the one thing I wanted to ask too, I know you mentioned it earlier, but like, do they help you with the mental health stuff? Like, if you say you're having a bad day or you feel like you're unmotivated, obviously you have a great support network with your family, mom and dad and the immediate family. But like, if you had like something like going on where it was like more than a day and you were like, I just don't feel like doing this, do they help you with that, or is that something that you look more towards like in-house for that?
Yeah, absolutely they can. My mental health person, like there's just so much going on that I don't see her a lot.
Okay.
But I have her like direct email, phone. So if I have to, we have that. But I also have parents that understand
Right.
the mental health piece,
Sure.
and sometimes they tell me to get your ass up.
Yeah, that's
You know,
it, right? Sometimes that's the biggest motivation, right? Is
yeah,
because
yeah,
obviously the
so,
old school approach is just to snap out of it, right? Like it's
yes,
all in your head, like get it, and sometimes it's a lot deeper than that, right? It goes, to the darker parts where
yeah,
they don't understand that.
yeah, absolutely. Especially with, we talked about that. Some of the medication makes the mental health worse.
Right.
But I also feel like right now, the mental health that I have, like the medicine, um, is working with what I have. I don't know if that's I've I've learned it.
Okay.
Now learning and all of that processing of the stage 4, um, I really don't feel like that in itself was depression. I think it was just me trying to process it.
Sure.
But I feel like there was a lot of days up to that I was like sleeping more, not really wanting to do things. Um,
I think we all have ups and downs.
Yeah.
But especially, someone who
Sorry.
has a has a
Yeah.
major problem. But
And
Beth,
Beth, if you're tired or you have to go, like we don't have
I
to.
have.
You let me know. This.
Oh no, it's just my booty on my towel. It happens.
but I am really proud of Elizabeth because she does talk it out, and if it's not something she can talk to me about, she does have
Yeah.
a mental health person that can help her. And honestly, she doesn't sit there and wallow.
Mm-mm.
She is just determined to have the best day she can have every day.
Yeah.
Her grandfather White used to have a saying that was, "Never had a bad day,"
Mm-hmm.
and I thoroughly believe that's our Beth.
Yeah.
She just muddles through. Well, she doesn't muddle through; she bowls through.
I do. So something funny. I was in that. So you remember when we were doing that, the sick,
Mhm.
the bug, and let me tell you, don't ever. I mean, oof.
It was a rough 24 hours.
Yes,
Yeah.
and my parents had it too. Also, it was after chemo.
Yeah.
So I was twice as much, like horrible. And I had started passing out. So I was like, okay, we have to go to the hospital. Like, I'm starting to pass out. Like, we need something. And so my parents couldn't go. So we ended up calling 911. And then my brother and sister-in-law were both off. So they also came and spent with me. Okay, so I learned that in hospitals, if there is no one able to care for you, there's a type of code bedding where you can stay. Was it 42 hours?
Yeah, I think you could say 24.
I think 24 hours that you
Okay.
can stay. You can stay. But I had heard from my dad or from my brother that there was no one available. So I would be staying in the ER. And I don't know if you've been to an ER, but they're horrible. Like
They
they're
are.
so uncomfortable. And so I was like, no, like I'm not doing this.
Right.
Not doing this. My brother's like, Beth, you can't even get up. And I'm like, no, I'm not going. And we ended up having a horrific fight in the ER. Enough to where the ER was like trying to like diffuse the situation. So I'm stubborn. I don't know if you know this. So I had said to my brother was like, okay, if you can make it here, you'll go home. So my happy butt got up, walked to where he wanted to wait, or he wanted me, and walked back up, and he's like, all right. should I have gone? No. But I did. I wasn't sleeping in my bed. And I did. But people were like, "Oh my gosh." Like, I'm pretty sure people talk about us.
Yeah.
I was not going.
Right.
And we did. We ended up making it work. My brother, it was working or off. So if I had anything bad, I was supposed to, call him and
Sure.
but that next day we all did a little better each time. But I'm telling you, people know my name.
Hey,
And
sometimes that's not a bad thing, right?
No, like, and I do. Like, I think that's part of my positive is I'm stubborn. Like,
And that is not new. She has
Yeah.
been stubborn since she
since I was
was
made.
born.
That's what I meant. Not
Yeah.
Sorry. But
Awesome. So what happens next now? I know you have the appointment coming up on Tuesday. What carries on into the future? Do we kind of know what's going on? Do we have any idea? Like what do you hope happens?
Well, I mean, obviously I want to not have any tumor.
Sure.
But my understanding, we obviously don't know.
Right.
But we have an inkling that if we get this say that it is tumor, most likely it'll either be scheduled for a surgery,
Okay.
or I would be kept there. I honestly think that if that's the case, they'll put me in the hospital because I have the Eliquist, and so that has to be off. But because of the severe concern of a blood clot,
Okay.
they'll have to like do the
They do something. They do a different medication instead of Eliquis for.
Yeah, but they also do the calf, not calf, but that
Well,
one thing. So I think it just depends on what the neurosurgeon wants to do.
Okay.
My positive is we're going to come home tomorrow and have a lot of doctor visits coming.
Okay.
Just normal 1 year.
Right.
We have to figure out like the continence and
Sure.
the physical therapy, and we did start noticing like my ear getting worse, but I mean that can be just from the swelling.
Right.
But we have that.
There are just
okay.
There are certain things that it can happen. We can go up there and they tell us it's necrosis, and we have to deal with that.
Yeah.
We could go up there and they can say she's got a new tumor and they're going to do surgery.
Okay.
Or we can go up there and she's got a new tumor and it's inoperable.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the three things.
Sure. Okay.
Or God's blessed us and the darn thing's gone.
It's gone.
Right.
We're not counting that one out.
That's what we keep saying. But
Was it wrong to say darn and God in the same sentence?
No.
They're
bad words. But those are our.
Sure. Okay. I just wanted to see if you kind of knew what you were up against, or if this was just kind of walking into a.
Yeah.
Now we know what we're up against.
Okay.
It's this. I mean, after her first visit to Mayo, as she saw, you see certain doctors after you've had a visit like that. Her oncologist here, her neurologist here, her radiation oncologist. And when they looked at the report and the things, Well, her radiation doctor wanted to start some radiation treatment because he saw it as a tumor.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty high on our thought.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
there is a new tumor there.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah, and Dr. Shamoon's looked at it. He's the neurosurgeon out of KU. Said that he thought it was a new tumor too.
I forgot
Okay.
about he's the one that originally did the
original
surgery. And he's also the one that took part of my skull away.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, the last time we met, he's like, there's no way for us to do anything.
Well, when we were going to see him that time, he was looking at putting a prosthesis over her brain. And he, after looking at it, he saw that at this point, and they had told us at Mayo that
it's not,
we should not cover that yet because there's a good possibility there's more surgery. So there just doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So. Yeah, and he's like, you don't need to call me. There's no appointments. Like, this is not a sore file. Was it? See,
it's not something that a neurosurgeon needed to take care of yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Plus, we're opting to, if she needs an additional surgery, to do it at Mayo Clinic.
Yeah. Sure.
Because everybody recognizes,
it's Mayo.
Right.
Not going to get better than that.
For sure. Absolutely.
So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay.
With those. And obviously, if something traumatic, big, happens, we will definitely update you. She has your phone number too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's such an intriguing story. And now that we've gotten to know each other and now Mom is on the show, right? It's like, I want to continue this journey with you. And this is kind of like a journal to like document it now. And it's like, I think all our viewers are still like, they all ask about you, right? On TikTok and stuff. I still get people messaging like, how's Beth? When I posted the thing, everybody was giving like the thumbs up and the likes because they're all interested now, in what you got going on. So, it's motivation for me to keep, going to have you on and we'll track your journey together. And it's
absolutely. That is one thing I forgot too, is that when we ask Mayo, we're going to ask what the risks are because of where the head's going to be.
Okay.
Like, I mean.
Well, she has a decision to make. If they say she needs surgery, she has the choice not to do it if that's what I'm
doing it, but
I know.
Right. Oh no, absolutely. Yeah.
At some point with all cancer, when you get toward those end stages, people make choices as to whether they want to continue with treatment or not. My father-in-law, when he got cancer, toward the end of his life, the cancer treatments were so strong that he couldn't tolerate them.
Right.
So, they made the choice of no more treatments. Yeah.
And I think not just that, but like what the risks are when it comes to like worse cognitive. Will I be able to talk with where it is? Because I feel like we didn't have that.
The first time when they first found it, it was an emergency.
Yeah, but
they just did it.
Yeah, they didn't give risks. I mean, obviously I wouldn't care if I had cognitive, but where it is like, will I be able to talk? Will I be able to like the preparation, like
absolutely.
Going in, I might be blind, I might be, so that is a big thing that I'm gonna ask, like, can I walk, like,
right,
just because of where the tumor will be for preparing,
right.
So that's a thing that we'll ask before the surgery too.
Well, I'm glad you guys have a game plan, right? And you kind of know what you're up against. I guess that's a good thing, right? To to stay positive and see what the doctors say, right, and kind of make a
Yep.
decision from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if we make the storm.
You guys will be fine. We'll have another podcast in another month or so. You'll be here and talking about it, so you'll be just fine. And
Absolutely.
all the viewers are praying for you and sending well wishes, and we're all on your side. So we're all supporting you.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody.
Oh, absolutely. That's, and like I said, your story is so great that, you're able to tell it and kind of like, give us the journey from where you've been to what's going on. Like, it's very, interesting that you get somebody's perspective from it that's going through it. Cause, a lot of times, unfortunately, it's too late, and the woulda, coulda, shouldas, they, at least you have, this journey that you're able to, use social media to your benefit to bring everybody along with you, myself included.
Yeah. And for me too, sometimes it's hard for me to like explain and write it out. And I love this because even family now are like, hey, we watched it. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Praying for you. They, I think, are able to take more of what's happening versus
Sure.
just saying update on Facebook, because
Right.
Sometimes you can't do justice to those Facebook
to those,
updates.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? You send a post from the hospital, and then the first thing is everybody's like, what's wrong, right? Well,
yeah,
everything wrong already happened, right? You just put
yeah.
the post that you're here, right? So, some people are like, I didn't even know you were in the hospital. Like, what's going on? Are you okay? And it's like, well, yeah, I'm fine, right?
I'm home, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, but that's awesome. So I will wish you guys the best. If there's anything else you guys want to add, feel free to do it. We will keep everybody updated and posted, and obviously we'll share this video. It'll go live on YouTube. I'll send you the links, and then whenever you're ready, if you want to come back, on and tell us about what happened this time around, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, it'd be really funny if you saw me at the hospital, like
Right.
I'll make for sure mom takes a couple of videos of me because
Sure.
I'm hilarious, I guess, when I'm on medicine.
That's awesome. And Mom's always welcome. So thank you, Mom, for joining us. You're always welcome. If you ever want to come on camera, you can too. No pressure, but if you ever wanted to, you're more than welcome to say hi and bring us along. So
Definitely. I think her and I would be a hoot, just talking reality on
The Beth.
I think so too. We could set that up for next time too. We'll just have a chat about life and in general, right? We could easily do that.
I'll have to turn on my social media voice.
Yeah, right. We'll make that happen.
I used to work at a jewelry store for my sister and brother-in-law, and I did a lot of their merchandising.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I developed an online voice when I was showing jewelry.
Hey, that works. That's an asset to have.
Yeah. She definitely did.
It was a lot of fun. We also had this is totally off. I'm sorry.
No. Keep going. We're fine.
We had this wonderful young woman. Her name was Babs.
Oh.
And she was.
You can say it. It's fine.
She was. I don't know what the right word is now.
She's mentally unstable.
No, she
Okay.
was stable. Yeah,
that's not the political. I
know that's the wrong word, but I don't know what's in vogue right now for him.
Functioning.
But yes, but she could live by herself and go around and do something. Well, we started doing commercials with Babs, and she had quite a following. I would stand there and tell her, "Okay, Babs, this is what we're talking about today," and she would look at it, and we would do a practice run, and then I would get her on live, and she would talk about all of these things. And at the very end, she always said, "You better get down here to Cantrell's and buy something soon."
That's awesome. Yeah.
She was always a lot of fun. But James and Sonia have closed their store now, so they
Okay.
Yeah, my brother-in-law was in the business for 43 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, but anyway, I digress.
Well, you guys did great.
If
And
you
like I said, keep us all posted. Let us know what's going on, and
Yeah.
then we'll set up another podcast when you're better after, Tuesday. Let us know what's going on, and then, down the road we'll kind of come back and, get your, progress and diagnoses from there, and we'll keep this going.
That sounds great. We'll do it.
Awesome.
It was very nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, you as well, and thank you and your family for doing this. Beth is amazing. Mom, you're amazing too. So thank you guys so much for being a part of the One Fun Guy podcast. Like I said, her being on the first time was just, I was flooded with messages about what's going on, because no one had the backstory, and so that was kind of why we wanted to get her on again to like give her the backstory. So she's been fantastic, but this journey, we're in it now together. So we'll keep setting it up, and we'll keep going from there.
Yep. Always.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again for being great guests. Beth, I wish you the best. You're in our prayers. Everything will go smooth on Tuesday, and you'll be just fine. So we'll have you on soon. So everything's going to work out well for you. So, all right, guys, we'll end here, and just keep us posted, Beth, and then I'll post this, and then you'll have access to it and the link, and then just let us know what's going on from there.
Yeah, and I have your number.
Yeah.
If we have to, if we have to go immediately to the, they'll keep you updated on it.
Yeah, just let me know, and like I said, I'll I'll keep the private stuff private, but we'll keep the public stuff public. So.
Yep, that sounds great.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. You have a great day too, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.